We'll now ask Shweta Wagh, his colleague, to tell us about the alignment and more than the alignment, the impact of the coastal road.
So I'm going to speak about the environmental and social impacts of the coastal road project. I will also go through the alignment, but since we do not have a PowerPoint presentation, I will mention impacts along specific areas along the coastline. There is a common misconception that Mumbai, which is a heavily urbanized city, does not retain much of its coastal ecology. It is true that land for urbanization has been created in Mumbai by reclaiming the sea, but most of this reclamation was done on the eastern shoreline for the building of the harbour. On the western coastline, except for short stretches such as Marine Drive and some other areas, the western shoreline still retains its natural edge. If we see, the edge consists of rocky headlands. It consists of rocky headlands such as Mahalakshmi, Bandra, Land's End. This is interspersed with bays and sandy and rocky beaches. Several natural watercourses also form long estuaries along the shore, some of which are the Malad Creek and the Manori Creek, apart from the edge or the estuary that the Juhu Nala forms in Juhu. The coastal road threatens to obliterate all these natural features and diverse ecologies along the coastline and completely homogenize the coastline. Out of the total freeway length, which is 34.56 kilometers, 11.61 kilometers is to be a reclaimed road. The total area of reclamation being 168 hectares. Reclamation along large stretches of the coastline, especially along rocky beaches such as Nepean Sea Road, Breach Candy, Mahalakshmi Headland, Worli Seafront, Bandra Headland and the Bandra Bandstand area will obliterate all these rocky beach areas. If you see, this is a natural beach which is being used by the public. So rocky beaches, apart from being ecological features, are also important public spaces in the city. These are also important public waterfronts. Bandstand is likely to be completely concretized by the reclamation due to the coastal road. What will also happen is that this area will lose direct access to the sea. These beaches that are now being used by people will have an 8-lane highway between them and the sea, cutting off the land from the sea completely. It has also been extensively reported that reclamation for the Bandra-Worli sea link had resulted in the death of Dadar Chowpatty. So we see that some of these reclamation projects not only impact the reclaimed areas but also have severe impacts in other areas. There has been a lot of reporting of beach erosion caused due to changing tidal patterns. We have been speaking to experts and geomorphologists, and even though the EIA report and the reports by the National Institute of Oceanography say that since the reclamation is within 100 meters, it will not have significant impacts on tidal patterns. There is likely to be a change in wave patterns due to the large-scale reclamation and an increased wave attack. And this is estimated especially in the northern side of Juhu Beach. So we will get more details from this from experts, but there is likely to be more impacts, and it has already been seen. There is a precedent that we have for the Dadar Chowpatty beach. So the coastal road, in effect, will actually also imply the death of Juhu Beach, which is an important public beach for the city. The reclaimed road also claims to construct a protective wall or a massive sea wall which will cut off the city from the coastline forever. The 8-lane highway, which is to be a breakwater wall on the seaward side of the proposed coastal road, has an elevation of about 3.5 meters. This will completely cut off existing sea-facing areas, structures and monuments from the sea. The road level is planned in such a way that it will impact not only the aesthetic seaside view. This is what is mentioned in the report. The EIA report mentions that the road level is planned in such a way that it will not impact the aesthetic seaside view of the commuters. So the people who are building the coastal road are only concerned with the seaside view of the commuters or people traveling in cars along the road. But what about the people residing on the landward side who will be cut off from the sea forever? coastal road thus is only exclusively catering to the demands of commuters and not for the common residents of the city. There are many historic monuments which have also had a traditional view and association of the sea, some of which are the Mahalakshmi Temple and the Bandra Fort. The Coastal Road EIA report actually mentions and lists some of these heritage monuments, but if you see, the important monuments such as Bandra Fort have been completely left out from this heritage list. In fact, Bandra Fort is a significant public landmark for Bandra residents, and it has a very good view of the sea, and a lot of people go there especially for the view of the sea and for the sea breezes. What we will have is a view of an 8-lane freeway infested with cars. The DPR has also proposed that the reclaimed area on the rocks which are adjoining the Bandra Fort will be entirely concretized, and what they have planned for it in the future is a memory garden. It's possible that this memory garden will be probably for the memory of the sea or the beach that existed there once. The waterfront consists not only of natural beaches and historic landmarks, but is also significant for its social ecology. The MCGM-DP report in fact mentions that 50,000 fisher folk are dependent on the sea for coastal resources and livelihoods. A majority of these are on the western coast, because most of the fishermen along the eastern coast, or the fishing village on the eastern coast, have been reclaimed or cut off from the sea. Apparently, a part of the coastal road is realigned and through underground tunnels to minimize impacts on settlements and ecologies along the coastline. Interestingly, ramps that lead to this tunnel, two of the ramps that are leading to these underground tunnels or form entry or exit points to these tunnels, are located bang opposite two of the most important fishing villages along the coast. So one being Khardanda and the second is Juhu Moragaon. The construction of these ramps would require massive construction and excavation of these beaches. It would also involve cut and fill, and the construction period will also be prolonged, which would have significant environmental impacts. It would also result in pollution of the sea and neighboring areas, and also cordon off those areas or cut off those areas for the entire period of construction. What will also be required is the construction of giant retention structures or sea walls along these ramps. These are right in front of the fishing villages. In the case of Juhu Moragaon village, one of the ramps is actually passing through an area which is used for fish drying by the local community. It would lead to not only the irreversible destruction of these beaches and waterfronts, but also loss of access of the coastal communities or the Koli communities to the sea. In fact, just last week we had a meeting with 15 representatives of 15 fishing villages in the city, and organized by the Maharashtra Machhimar Kriti Samiti, and all the Koli villages passed a unanimous resolution to oppose the coastal road. They feel that it would not only have impacts in front of these two villages, that is Khardanda and Moragaon, but will wipe out fishing activity from Mumbai forever and displace these communities and their livelihoods. Chimbai village has been spared, so the coastal road is not a reclamation in front of Chimbai village as it is in front of Khardanda. All those fish drying areas and the waterfront in front of Khardanda is going to be reclaimed, and then there's going to be a ramp which leads to the underground tunnel. So Khardanda is going to be entirely cut off from the sea. Chimbai village is spared because we have a stilt road which is around 200 meters away from the village. But if we need to understand that the impacts of the coastal road are not only restricted to the alignment of the coastal road. If we study the development plan 2014-2034, there was a road planned along the seaward side of Chimbai village, right on the beach, in the area which is used as a coastal commons by the fishing community. So we realize that just as in Chimbai village, in many of these areas which are on the along the western coast, we will see the construction of many other roads. I'm sure the Bandra residents know about a lot of road widening projects that were proposed in Bandra, a lot of road widening that was also proposed in urban villages and Gauthans in Bandra, and somehow all these areas all this road widening is also a way of increasing or giving incentive to motorized transport, which will completely transform existing historic fabrics and existing historic areas in the city. Mumbai is not a city, it's a historic city. It is not a city that was planned for cars, but it is being transformed into a city which is predominantly for cars, which would also mean it will transform all these older areas. There are several connectors, in fact 12 interchanges to the coastal road or connectors to the coastal road along the western coastline. Two of these are on Carter Road. So one is at Otters Club. So you have one of the connectors to the coastal road right adjacent to Otters Club. In fact, that area is a fish drying area which is used by the fishermen in Chimbai village. The second connector to the coastal road will be from one of the stretches of mangroves along Carter Road. Yes. What we also can, what can also be seen is that though there will be less traffic on the coastal road itself, because it's supposed to be a way of smoothing out traffic, increasing the speed for commuters. All these areas which have connectors to the coastal road will in fact have even more congestion. So Bandra is likely to be one of the areas which is likely to face significant congestions, because all the areas from the east, all the cars from the eastern side will also be coming towards Bandra, through Bandra, to access the coastal road. And therefore there's likely to be significant traffic not only in Bandra but in Juhu and all these areas, even on the Malad Link Road, all these areas where the feeders to the coastal road are situated. The road on stilts will be quite close to the coastline. So, like if you see the ceiling, that is the Bandra Worli ceiling, there's a distance between the coast shoreline and the stilt road. This stretch between Bandra Fort or after Bandra Bandstand, there's going to be a stilt road which comes to Khardanda. Towards this edge of Carter Road, you again have a reclamation in front of Khardanda village. The stilt road will not be very far from the sea. So in fact, we might just leave aside these rocks and you will have a coastal road there, which will completely change the skyline or the view of the sea that the Bandra residents have today. Another point where we see such kind of disruption of the view is the Haji Ali Dargah. So there's the Haji Ali Bay, where we have access to the coastal road and a tangle of connectors and stilted freeways which will completely disfigure the skyline. There will be worse impacts in the northern parts of the city. There will be construction of roads through Juhu Nala next to Moragaon fishing village in Juhu. A stilt road will be constructed over the Versova mangroves, and they have also planned a landfill road bang in the middle of Malad Creek, which goes almost along its entire length. Although the EIA, or the Environment Impact Assessment Report, claims that there will be no impact on stormwater drainage patterns as they are providing ample culverts to these roads, we need to understand or remember that mangroves and coastal wetlands have certain important functions. They are important not only critical ecological habitats but also provide ecological services, some of them being flood control, flood prevention, absorption of excess rainwater and flood water, and they also act as natural sponges which prevent the rest of the city from flooding. It seems as though we still haven't learned our lessons from the disaster that Mumbai faced in July 2006, when the Mithi River swelled up and resurfaced. And a large part of this disaster can be attributed to the reclamation of Mahim Creek when BKC, that is the Bandra Kurla complex, was constructed right inside Mahim Creek through a reclamation of mangroves. Experts have estimated that there will be flooding in upstream areas wherever such reclamation in creeks or mangroves takes place, or destruction of mangroves and creeks takes place, and this kind of flooding is actually estimated in Goregaon, Malad, Malavani, Charkhop areas in Juhu, and all these low-lying areas are likely to face the consequences of the coastal road. Environmental and social impacts are also likely in the Mud, Marve and Manori area, which the coastal road will connect to the mainland. these areas are the last remaining breathing spaces for the city. Earlier, these were designated as NDZs or no development zones in the 1981 DP. But in the new development plan, most of these areas have been opened out and converted to residential commercial zones and given an FSI of 2. So in fact, this is a developer's dream come true, because connectivity to Mud Island, that this is what it says in the Coastal Road report, connectivity to Mud Island will have significant economic benefits. The Coastal Road is seen as a trigger for speculative growth and will destroy the existing natural features in those areas, which will get heavily urbanized. It will also destroy existing beaches, and what it will replace our existing waterfronts and public spaces with is concretized public spaces, which are completely either cut off from the sea because they'll be facing the highway on the seaward side, or a seawall on the seaward side, or they will be on the other side of the coastal road. So even if they construct promenades or walkways on the other side of the coastal road, we'll have to cross an 8-lane freeway through underground tunnels to even access those promenades. So I wonder how many people will even ever reach there. Carter Road is a vibrant public space and is a good example of a public space which is integrated with a residential neighborhood. People just need to cross a small road and access the space. If we compare this with Bandra Reclamation, which is somehow cut off from other residential areas in the city, that area is neglected, it is not safe, it is never used, because most people cannot access it. So I think it's important to not fall for their, all these arguments that they are giving us about the creation of new public spaces due to the construction of the coastal road. What will also tend to happen is we also need to question the nature of these public spaces or open spaces that they're trying to create. Because large amounts of mangroves are likely to be disrupted or destroyed, which are also ecological habitats, but they also perform another important function, which is regulating the climate. Bombay is getting heavily urbanized, and we need a balance of natural areas, greenery, forest, vegetation to keep balancing that, and we know that the temperatures are also rising. What will end up what they're saying is also that they will provide compensatory mangrove plantation or compensatory afforestation, but they have not specified where this compensatory plantation is going to be. So the mitigation that they are proposing in the EIA report is something that they have not detailed out. They are also saying that, I would like to quote from the report itself, that provision has been made in the environment management plan for compensatory forestation plantation along the road. The project is expected to enhance the aesthetics of the area without compromising the land use pattern of the area. Change in aesthetics and visual appeal of the region will also be positive. I wonder how far these statements are true. We have been studying the environment management plan, we have been studying the EIA report. In fact, they have also given renderings or drawings of what these public spaces which will be created will look like. And if you see any of those drawings, you'll realize that all they are is large stretches of concrete, large stretches of paving. I don't see any plantation there except for small shrubs or some kind of landscaping and flower beds. I don't think we'll be able to compensate in any substantial way for the kind of loss we are incurring due to the construction of the coastal road. We need to take a decision about certain things. Do we want a seawall cutting off this coastal city from the sea forever? Do we want fishing and livelihoods and certain communities which have been historically a part of Mumbai to be displaced and their livelihoods displaced from the city forever? Do we want to lose our beaches and our accessible, vibrant public waterfronts? I think we need to take a call and write an objection to the MCGM to oppose this project in its entirety.
For many who've come late or maybe passing by or staying briefly, we just wanted to make sure that everybody registers their names here. And, to offset the costs of organizing these meetings, which will be the first of many such meetings, and generating public opinion against the road,